Hello everyone, Heir of Change, or Heir of Tzeentch here, or I guess Patchy the Tzeentch Peasant, however we want to go with it here, but welcome you all back, and we are ready to continue the action here in our Changeling campaign. So this one should be interesting. We were working on getting a hold of Wolfenburg, and I definitely want to take advantage of the income that gold mine provides. Now that's of course assuming that the ogres don't just come right up here and take it. So after face punching Wolfenburg, I'm actually going to go potentially work on beating up the ogres because they have been snowballing. You can see them already working on that because remember I took both of these previously. So I'm going to go beat up on the ogres a little bit after this. But we need to continue things. I am going to be addressing some of your comments that you left on the last episode, so if you did take the time to comment, I want to just say thank you. I appreciate it. And I also wanted to say thank you because I was looking at some statistics, and basically I think out of the last couple of weeks, the lowest percentage of likes that's been on any video on my channel was 96%. So I just wanted to say thank you because it feels good as a content creator to know that what you're making is being enjoyed. And I know that I don't get Mr. Beast-like views, and understandably so, because I don't make videos as good as him. But I feel very appreciated by those of you who watch, and that's what I need. That kind of helps fuel me on to want to keep going. So let's check out our unassigned skill points here for the Changeling. Armies lose armor in the region and speed. Wow, that's actually pretty great. But we are working on trying to get this called by change to make our armies a little bit less expensive because we're already operating in the negative. But we can sustain that negative if we play it properly. Let's see our Tzeentch cultist here. And Burning Head. Okay. And then we can do building upgrades, but I don't have the money for it right now, so we're going to leave that alone. We do have plenty of grimoires, though, to continue researching basically every changing of the ways thing, and I want to get those all open so that we have options available to us. So comes another turn in, and the first comment we're going to cover today, in fact, I'm going to go down to the bottom of the comments here. Inductive Grunt says, great to see another episode of the campaign. Just remember, no matter how much change you create in this campaign, your mug is still ugly. It is correct. It is correct. Some people were suggesting at some point that I need to actually sell a mug as merchandise that's really ugly, and it's Heir's ugly mug. I would do that at some point, but I don't need money for merchandise, and I don't want you all going off spending money on my behalf. But I do understand that would be pretty entertaining. To say the least, but yes, it's an idea that's been floated in the past, but like I said, I don't need the type of support from you all buying merchandise. I don't know if you all ever noticed, I think I've done it maybe once or twice before where I'll post a game link and then I just decide, you know what, I don't need that. But then, for instance, when I do get a sponsorship, I did get sponsored, for instance, by Ewin that did a chair. They offer me commission, by the way, whenever I put those codes up there, but I never take it. I just tell them to give you all the discount. And so, yeah, I've never had an interest in trying to make this channel my income because I don't need it to be. And so it just kind of feels weird in that respect. So, yeah, in any case, let's see what building we want to put in here. Be nice to gain some spread of a Tzeentch cult around here. I'll go ahead and grab that as a chance. And then again, I don't want to go too crazy with the money spin, but we are doing a little better because we picked up a ton of money off Wolfenburg. And if we improve the building there, we can pick up even more. So that's why I wanted to capture that settlement that had the gold mine in it, because the gold mine is good money, not just for them, but good money for me as well. So, Burning Head, excellent. We've got our skill points taken care of. I am going to have to move around Wolfenburg, but I'm going to come back here and beat down these ogres and then head into their territory and kind of whip up on them because I don't want them just coming through here and taking everything like they have been in my last few campaigns. It's been kind of irritating, to be honest. I did see some comments, by the way, which I may or may not get to, but they were basically saying that I should go after the Feckendites just, to prove the whole hates Nurgle thing true. And trust me, that's very tempting, and so I might do that. Anyway, Gainward wanted to share some of their thoughts on the DLC, because I asked you all to share that type of thing. And they said, the DLC is expensive if you compare it to what that is worth. For $30, I can buy a full-size game. But for Warhammer, I get additional content that doesn't even come close to the value of a full game. He said, that said, I'm not in a dollar in, dollar out kind of person. I don't really need my dollar value equal time played, but the things that I want when I can. He says, but other people aren't in that situation. He said, but even if they were, it's still an expensive DLC. So he says, I understand the outrage like this. He's like, you're paying for more than you are getting when that same value can give you a full game. So I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think a lot of people are upset. There's not a ton of full games out there for $30, but there are some, especially when you factor in the sales. And in fact, it's pretty easy to score full games for $30 on Steam sales. So I think it's a fair point to make. And I think that's the risk you run when you do price the DLC really high, is that people are going to start wondering whether or not it's worth it. That's just how that cookie crumbles, I think. We're going to declare war on the ogres. They did hear me say cookie crumbles, so no doubt Scrag will be coming after me like Cookie Monster, because they're ogres and that's just what they do. I'm going to raise their settlement here. Yeah, we were building a parasitic cult there, so we'll kind of continue to make our money. And we picked up the Screamers.
I am everyone.
Would be nice to have the Screamers here. Ultimately, I probably don't need as many blue horrors, so I think I'll drop a blue horror, and then we'll gain some infantry line, and I'll probably drop a Fury eventually as well. But the Furies are pretty handy, to be honest. There we go. It's just gonna increase my upkeep cost, unfortunately, but we can start on Called by Change now, so that is going to start to drop the upkeep cost of my army, and that will help us towards getting a second army eventually. And, like I said, that'll come with time. We're going to have to establish a lot of trickster cults and get our foot in the door with high money provinces like we just did. Looks like we have a quest battle. Oh, look, the Feckendites are already sweeping in here, too. So we're going to need to go deal with them as well. So we do have a battle that we can fight for the Trickster Staff. And let's go ahead, though. Go punch the ogres in the nose again real quick. And then I'm going to take a look at a few different things. Like I said, I don't want the ogres getting a leg up on anything here. Hate that whenever you sack a settlement. It's like, oh, we're gonna move you 10 miles in the opposite direction. It's like, no, how about you just leave me by the settlement there? That should be fine. Okay, let's see. Alright, Way of War. So we can do the Force War. These are going to start taking a little longer to research, but they'll all be helpful. See, here we can use those grimoires as we see fit. So like, for instance, we could go ahead and reveal the Shroud down here. Get a look at what the ogres... See, the ogres have already taken over Altdorf. Like, they run over the Empire just in a heartbeat every single time. And then Festus gets in here and tries to start running things around, too. So, like, I think I'm going to screw around with Festus a little here, too, and just cause him some issues. So I'm going to perform the Forced Rebellion there. So, yeah, that should be good. And then let's go ahead... No. Take it easy there. And see, with Wolfenburg, I wanted to leave them alive. Hopefully they don't get clobbered by someone here soon, but we'll see what the case is. We got the Trickster cults in place. I could build some buildings. I'm not particularly desperate for much here at this point, and some of these upgrades don't really do a lot. So, like, for instance, I'd have to spend 2,000 here to get an increase of 150. So obviously it takes that a long time to pay off. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good while. 6 per 900, so it'd be 7 turns roughly to get your money back. on that one, which I guess isn't terrible, but I mean, 7-turn payback is a long payback plus the 5 turns to build it, so it'd take full-on 12 turns before you start really profiting from those. Sometimes the building upgrades don't feel very worth it. They are, especially if you can start racking up some income. And I guess some people could say, well, the sooner you start it, the sooner it starts paying. That's true as well. That type of thing is definitely the case. I see a potential land battle here because we are not at war with those Norskins. If I can catch them, that would count towards my scheme battles that we have going on here in the Empire, where we have to win 15 land battles in this theater, I believe. Yeah, so that would be number 5. I wish they would change this to just win 15 battles. 15 land battles is a little bit annoying just because the AI hates to cooperate with land battles. We don't have Halt Army yet. That is some of our continued research. Halt Army is really helpful for pinning people out. They'll probably run away. I don't know if they can even see me, to be honest. I don't remember how that works. Yep, they just went right past me towards that settlement that I just sacked. Some of you might be like, you're declaring war on everybody. Yeah, I kind of do that as the Changeling, just because we can. The AI is terrible at hunting you down, even on the best of days, and they're certainly bad at it whenever you're the Changeling, so I'm going to keep going down that road. Let's get another comment in here. Game words, we just read game words, so RPOT says, how do you feel about CA threatening to cancel the future Warhammer development if people don't pay the full price? Honestly, everybody kept saying this. Where was that? Like, I didn't see a part of the statement that looked like it was threatening to cancel future development. I don't know. I read it 2 or 3 times because I heard people saying that. I just didn't come away with that. So I don't know how to answer that because I didn't see it. If you all can tell me, I mean, I'd be more than happy to answer it. Like I said, I didn't see it. So I don't know if I'm just reading something different or blind or whatever. I mean, I'm open to those being the case, but I wasn't able to see that threat. Don't get me wrong, it didn't read nice, and I'm not sitting here saying it was a good statement. If anything, the moment I read it, I was like, wow, that's a stupid statement. I don't know why they even released that. But at the same time, I then went on over to the partner Discord that we're all in with CA, and of course the other content creators were saying this. They were saying like, oh, it sounded like a threat to end in development, but like, and I was like, really? And so I went back reading it, like trying to see what were they talking about that I know, and I just couldn't find it. Yeah, not saying it wasn't there, but I didn't see it, so I just don't know how to answer that at the moment. I don't know if that's worth much, but like I said, you can point to it. Now, if they did make that type of threat, then obviously that would be incredibly stupid. I don't know why you would make that kind of threat. But then again, that whole statement was pretty stupid, so I guess I wouldn't stand very shocked if that were the case. I'm going to actually reposition just slightly to have that building hold up my flank there. The Norskins are going to have to attack us. We do have Kugath that we can transfer into, and I'm going to go ahead and do that because the magic on the Changeling at the moment is just not particularly great from a damage standpoint, whereas Kugath is got a ton of hit points and he can bombard the enemy from range. Cause some pretty tremendous damage. So the Norskins are going to have pretty low armor, which is going to be helpful for me in this particular case. I'm going to go ahead and line up these Zangors, a little bit of a defensive stance there. I can use my flyers and a few other key units to kind of help the blue horrors in the middle, which will no doubt get a little bit overwhelmed. My Zangors can hold together this flank, especially since I can kind of like hold right here. They can't get around me. Alright, Papa Kugath. Let him have it. Fake Papa. Alright, they are marching forward at an excruciatingly slow pace, and I'm not really sure why that is. But I guess so. Gives Kugath more time to chuck, like, belly button lint at him here. Don't they wish that's all it was belly button lint. As soon as these guys get in range of the blue horrors, I'm going to go try and blob up some of the Norskins so that my blue horrors and pinks can start really shredding them up a little. I like using the single entity blob where it's feasible. It's a very good strategy at wearing down the enemy. There we go. These flamers out here should be able to get some good damage done as soon as they get line of sight. They were struggling with line of sight. It looks like, at least. I'm going to move them back to here and see if we can get another shot with them, get them out of the way. Zangors go ahead and hit the breach there. And Kugath does have some units bottled up. The enemy lord came right there. Let's bring some key units in behind the enemies here, and let's put some rear charges in. Zangor should be able to hold this flank just fine. Okay, we're lined up for rear charges, so let's stick it to them. And then the Severed Claw has gotten into that unit. Let's get out here and save our flamers. I'm going to actually get my flamers away and get them over here where they can kind of shoot into that blob. I've got that Burning Chariot up above, and then we've got Bombardment spun up here. So yeah, we've got these guys easily handled. The rear charges came through really nicely. We can just put a Burning Head through here real quick. Yep, and that cleaned that up in moments there with the support of the Flamers and Zangors there. And of course, every time we cast a spell, our Zangors get stronger. So we got to remember to do that as much as we can. In fact, I'll just go ahead and pop another spell here just for the sake of casting a spell. Same thing here, just give these guys a little parting shot. We'll just continue to cast those spells. Like I said, it just charges up our Zangors, which is a really cool ability. Makes Zangors unique and fun. They are not great at piercing through armor, but they are quite good in many other respects, and so Zangors have kind of quickly become a go-to unit for me in the version of this, or the updated version of the game here. I definitely enjoy me some Zangors. Let's pump things up a little. Chase that routing unit just a little bit there. Kugath, kind of just keep firing away. Let's fire up another spell. Actually, we'll do a couple of spells here. Yeah, enemy leadership's not going to hold together long. See, even with all that spell casting right there, I think we only powered up our Zangors, yeah, only a little bit. Like, see, it just hit 7%. So, using up those winds and magic's not only helpful at killing your enemies, but it's quite useful at powering up your Zangors with some extra punch. Let's see, Ian says, CA needs to fire whoever is in charge of PR. That post was borderline insulting. Sure to throw oil on a fire. Yeah, I agree. That was definitely not good. I don't know that anybody was intending to do what they ended up doing, but that said, like, you've got to take your time and filter those kind of things through a few folks, you know, like other people at the company, and then it doesn't hurt sometimes to take these things and just share it with trusted members of the community. Like, for instance, myself and the other creators are under an NDA. They could show us the statement, and we're not allowed to speak about it, and you know, until they tell us. They could certainly show it to us and say, hey, what would you all think if you were reading this? That is definitely a possibility, and something that would probably be quite smart, because they've got kind of like a sounding board that they can bounce that against. But in any case, yeah, I think that would be smart for them to do such things. I'm trying to think what else I was going to say about this in charge of PR. Yeah, honestly, like, it's not just the PR, but like, for instance, this game is great. Warhammer 3 is beautiful. It's got a lot of really great stuff in it. It's really a fantastic game. To me, it's been marred by having been released too early, and then that kind of took the wind out of the sails because it got released too early. And then because of its early release, like, a whole bunch of interest fell off early, and then it took them too long to have the first patches and content ready, and that dropped off interest even more. And then it kind of hit its stride, like the last DLC with the Chaos Dwarves. I felt like did pretty good. It was a good, like help to the game. And then this one came along, and honestly, this DLC for me is fun. I don't have any issue with anything I've played in the DLC so far. But the thing that was surprising to me was the fact that they then released that statement, which, of course, at that point just was like, what? Why? Like there was no reason to. And so I think that just throws me off. So I feel like that part of this game's troubles are just because of the way that CA has chosen to launch it and then continue the content. And a lot of that definitely could have been avoided, in my opinion. Like, definitely could have been avoided with a little bit better planning and, just changing the way they approach some of those things. So I feel like it was a mistake that didn't need to be made, yet it was made. I am going to go ahead and run a couple of those upgrades, so that'll hopefully start paying some dividends later on down the road. Let's go ahead and end our turn. But yeah, I definitely am feeling that way. Oh, we did pull off the ambush. I didn't know if it would work. Now, there's another ogre army right behind this one, so if we do this ambush, we need to be fairly decisive about it. So let's go ahead and fight it, and I will attempt to be decisive, and I'll go ahead and grab another comment as I load into it. Kevin says, Air must have disagreed with me because he's cursed to have an ugly mug that would make Kugath cringe. Oh man, there we go. I'm getting put up against Kugath now, but I mean, it's true. The mug is ugly, so thank you, sir. Senshi Bat says, daft release schedules for major workmates. CA, please. Sometimes you could look at when people have more time to frolic in the lands of Warhammer, saying during school breaks, vacations, letting new drops come at the end of summer is not as good for the time to enjoy this. That's not a bad point, Senshi. So our prophet bat, Senshi, who's been a long time member of the channel and supporter, I think that's not a bad thing to point out. Like, this particular release is coming at a time, too, when it is the end of summer. They get to start right next to the point at which they withdraw. Like, that doesn't make much sense. I'm going to put the Severed Claw right here, because that will certainly give these guys something to think about, and I'll put some... The Sandgors are not going to be particularly good against ogres, but I'm going to put them here to just try and box these guys in a little bit. I'm going to put this unit right here. I definitely want my blues and pinks, though, to be able to really light these guys up from just the minute the battle starts. Yeah, I think they got their Nobbler Trappers partway back there, too. I think our Flamers could do pretty well right here, as they could shoot over the top of the Severed Claw, I think, into those big units. And we can also throw our... I'm going to do this. I'm going to get my other... Yeah, these flying units ought to do just fine back here. And I'm going to just change into Kugath, actually, as soon as the battle starts. And then let's go ahead. Actually, I don't know. Kugath could be good to tank here. Okay, it's going to be a lot to control right when the battle starts. In fact, it's going to be kind of difficult to control, so I'm going to get things ready. So, start battle. And let's just start shooting at those Gorgers. Here comes everything. Let's go ahead and change. Just dive bomb here. Run in with the Zangors. Run in with the Zangors. Run in behind that with Zangors. Let them continue to fire away. Okay. Put a fireball on there. Oh gosh, these units are actually getting shredded up pretty bad by Gorgers. Let's see if we can... It's probably too late. I think I'm going to lose that Chaos Fury, but that's okay. We can replace it with something else. We weren't going to keep Chaos Furies forever. Okay, this worked, though. The initial ambush here, very successful. And now we just need to push off some of these units over here. I got my airborne units up to safety. And we drove out... I need to get some spells rolling. And let's get some more spells rolling. I don't know if those guys even have armor, but I just need to cast spells to Got my Zangors up here. Let's get our abominations back out of that fight if we can afford to, which I think we can. Let's move up reinforcements. Okay, we've got the fight pretty well under control. Those Zangors are just going to have to tank for a moment. Okay, here we go, here we go. Actually get down into that one with our burning chariot before we get daggered to death there. Whew, our poor Zangors they're feeling the heat down here. They are feeling the heat. But we have succeeded. So, it wasn't perfect, but I mean, we've got a pretty solid ambush there. It's an ogre army down for way less than what we lost here. They do have some gorgers here that are apparently going to fight to the death. There we go, we got rid of them. So, successful ambush. We'll go ahead and end the battle there. I'll take some more comments here. Alan says, great battles. Thank you. I mean, we did have some big battles in the last one. I hope you enjoyed them. The Katana Hero says, oh yes, waiting for part 2. Well, hopefully you were waiting for part 3. It's here now, if you're listening. Fox says, so what's your faction list of your favorite faction to play to least favorite? Well, I mean, I don't know all the factions that I can run through it off the top of my head. In campaign, for me, it is... I'll just call it top tiers. That way I don't have to list them in like a very specific order. But like top tier fun for me in campaign is probably Dwarves, Chaos Dwarves, Cathay, and Empire. Like those are up really high for me. And then I would say that the High Elf campaigns, so we'll go down to second tier now. High Elf campaigns are good. I really like the Druchii campaigns. Put them in that tier. I mean, bottom tier for me is basically all the demon factions. I find them pretty boring, except for Changeling. Changeling is a little different here. And it's not to say that the demon factions aren't fun. They're just in bottom tier for me. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not saying I don't like them or I won't ever play them. They just go low for me. And the lowest of the low, just to make it clear, is Nurgle. Nurgle is boring. Like, Nurgle is just bad. Like, bad as in not fun, and then, I don't know, kind of bad just as a faction, too. So I'm just all around not into Nurgle. Like, I don't think that Nurgle's entertaining. I don't think they're providing much to the game. Like, yeah. So anyway, I just crapped all over Nurgle. Sorry if you're kind of an old-timey Nurgle fan there, but it is just not for me. So, yeah. In any case, there you go. Now you kind of know how I feel about that. I might have to teleport back across here, by the way, because I do want to get over and start smacking down the Fecundites. I don't want them rolling through here either, but at least we put a bit of a crimp on the ogres, and we got our research going. But yeah, hopefully that gives you some idea of where the factions live. Like, Lizardmen are probably, like, second tier, like, for me. Now, they're pretty darn fun, don't get me wrong. They're right up there with, like, the High Elves, Druchii, that kind of stuff. Vampirates are pretty good fun. Like, I would put them in that second tier. Bretonnia is probably between, like, my middle and lower tier. Fun, though, way better. They would have definitely been in bottom tier had it not been for the updates that CA gave them recently. I very much like the updates that they got. I think those were highly necessary. Doing good things for Bretonnia. Oh my, what? We got a steam tank in the Regiments of Renown? Oh yeah, for doing the scheme executed. Sweet! We got a scheme done, and we got some steam. Scheme for steam. We'll call this Armored Change. Unless you all can think of a better name for the steam tank, I'm open to it. But otherwise, Armored Change. We have a steam tank. That's absolutely amazing. Oh boy. And some of you might be saying, well, Air, why is the Trickster higher on your list than some of the other demon factions? Well, the Trickster actually offers something kind of fun and unique. I don't particularly love the Tzeentch roster. Like, it's kind of tedious to use sometimes, but since they finally got like the Chaos Warriors added and the Zangors, you actually have like a normal infantry line now with Tzeentch, and so now I find Tzeentch to be a lot more fun to play. They've also got cavalry, they've also got missiles. Most of the demon factions are just so one-sided that it makes them a little bit uninteresting. Now, does that mean they're not fun or they don't look cool? No, I mean, Khorne looks great. They're a lot of fun. Yeah, Nurgle sucks, sure. They're the diarrhea at the bottom of the pile, and appropriately so. So yes, I'll crap all over Nurgle here intentionally. But Slaanesh, like Slaanesh's armies are fast, and it's really cool to see all the damage that they do on the charge. But admittedly, they're kind of one-sided and boring. So Slaanesh needs some more roster. I think Nurgle just kind of needs an overhaul. Not necessarily to the fact that they're slow, tanky, and heal. That part of them is okay, but it's just like playing them is just gosh awful because your army is so slow. And it feels like you just don't have much of a roster either. And so, I don't know. I can't do it. I'm just not into Nurgle. So I'm sure that will end up getting me visited with the plague here soon in real life, where real Nurgle will laugh at my misfortune. There's a maximum number of buildings of this type. We don't have the building of that type, though. Is it because is it the one opposite of it? Yeah, I think we've got the one opposite of that. That's got to be torn down before we can build what it is that I'm looking for there. Would like to expand the Trickster Cult. Okay, so that one costs maintenance. That one costs less maintenance, but you have less turns. So let's do that one. Okay. We'll be in a good position to intercept the Fecundites and also the Norskins here. Well, I'm still a few turns away from being able to halt an army, unfortunately. I wish that we had it. But hopefully I can get a hold of one of these and force another land battle here that will count my schemes, because then that will actually allow us to do the territorial scheme here, or whatever they call it. Because if we just get one more here, so like for instance this winning the battles, or killing the Fecundites, or whatever it is, and maybe we'll just go knock out the Fecundites and see which one comes first, either killing the Fecundites or getting our battles. One of the two. Let's see what these guys do on the turn in. Oh my gosh, did he actually come fight me? And it says he's gonna win? I mean, are these exalted ones? Yeah, okay, they are exalted. Okay, I mean, they're pretty tough, and they got a lot of missiles. Warriors of Tzeentch with great weapon. Yeah, so those are some powerful infantry units. I mean, he's definitely got some strong infantry units. Like, there's no doubt about it that those are strong. But, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm sold on him winning this. Like, these guys we got to worry about a little bit because of all those stupid, like, poison craps that they throw. I think we can deal with the warriors between the steam tank and the cockatrice. They do have some halberds we'd have to keep an eye on. I'm trying to think how I deal with Festus. Killing him fast would be super helpful, and obviously my magic missiles would probably get rid of him fairly quick. I could certainly pummel all this from range with the steam tank. I mean, let's give it a shot here and just see what it comes to. I mean, we might not be able to win this, but I'll give it a shot. We went through some tough battles on the last one. Fox, so hopefully that explains some of the faction list for you. So Gare says, I understand your thoughts on this period of time. There's far too much hate in the world. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't get worked up too easy. Definitely there's a lot of things that make me want to get worked up, but I try not to. So yeah, I don't get upset about stuff easily, and still the statement came across to me as pretty dumb. So I guess that's why I was kind of surprised that it was released. So like, did it get me in an outrage where I'm not gonna buy the DLC? No, but it was incredibly stupid. So yeah, it was dumb. All right, here we go. Let's get our troops laid out. I feel like we're going to want to use Kugath and bombard these guys from range again, and we're going to want this steam tank right up front, firing away into Nurgle's lines from long distance. We could use these little formations here to shore up our flanks. So like, for instance, I can deploy like this and shore up our flank pretty good while still probably being in tank range from the very beginning. Zangors. So like, for instance, I can line up some Zangors, and this will make it harder for Nurgle to outflank us. This particular position. We do have a lot of bombardments available to us, which is quite good. Trying to see, maybe right here would be an okay place for some of these. At those guys, let's get the flamers into a defensive stance, cockatrice. Put these units right in the middle, because they'll probably run their giants and other stuff like just straight YOLO fashion right towards us, because that's what the AI does. Okay, yeah, that should be good. That should be good. I actually do... I won't transform immediately. I mean, we kind of could, but I'm going to actually take that steam tank. And I'm going to start jacking up those Exalted Plague Bearers. And then I'm going to get over here and put some hot fire out on this dude. Okay, we got a guy that we might be able to lure forward into combat sooner. We don't have much magic going down right now. It's not good. There we go. We got a good hit on him. Okay, yeah, he's going to straight up YOLO us. Let's get the Screamer, see if we can eat him up real quick. Alright, yeah. I'm not going to be able to stop him. So he is going to get all the way into my line, which is a little bit annoying there. Not going to lie. But he is going to go down early, and that's fine with me. Steam tank's firing away, actually not doing a ton of damage. Probably do better up against like that giant or those trolls. We are starting to shoot the trolls, by the way, which is great. So the trolls are going to get a face full here. Let's pop them with a fireball real quick. I'm going to get transformed and try and go park Kugath out into these Exalted Bloodletters. And then speaking of Exalted Bloodletters, we're going to try and feed them a steady diet of metal there. Alright, let's get Kugath out here. I've got to go disrupt these Exalted Plague Bearers. They're just too dangerous to allow them to get all the way into combat. Alright, sorry, I gotta pause it real quick because there's just a whole lot going on all over the battlefield, and I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything critical here. So, do apologize, but it is what it is. I'm not getting hit as hard on that flank, so I'm going to swing some reinforcements the other way. And let's see, we got a giant coming straight at us. That is a big threat, but Festus is also a big threat. I might try and like just focus fire on Festus real quick, and I'll see if I can block him up with the Severed Claw. We got a little bit of a problem over here in the sense that okay, we did hurt Festus really bad. I'm gonna have to fall back over here. Man, we got a lot going down. We got a lot going down. This is not good. We're getting shredded over here. We can't let those Exalted Plague Bearers savage us like that. Let's put a thing. Okay, so Festus is out. That is really great news. Now let's get the giant. And we do have the steam tank helping. Cockatrice is okay. Let's pull those guys back around. How are we doing over on this flank? Things could be better over here. Okay, my horrors are out of ammo, so let's roll them in, because our Zangors are going to get overwhelmed. All that armor, we're going to have to make something give. Okay, we took down the giant. That's another huge deal there. Have to get back in the air over here. I'm gonna drop the armor of these guys a little bit, and then drop a hammer right here. Pump up some more magic. I gotta fall back a little. I can take the Severed Claw now and start to reinforce some of these fights, because we're gonna need it over here. In fact, I'm gonna dump some units in there. See if we can hold the line. And let's start pouring some fire out here towards Papa Kugath, or fake Kugath as it is. Let's get rid of these Chaos Warhounds real quick with the tank. And yeah, looking pretty good actually, looking pretty good. I definitely don't think we're going to lose. I may take some egregious losses on certain fronts, but egregious losses are better than just straight up losses. I need to get these flamers up here too. Let's start pouring some fire in that direction. Let's use our cockatrice to hold these units up. Let's get our steam tank out here. So Kugath definitely taking a beating, but I feel like we can support our way out of that. Let's get down here with that burning chariot, which is good against infantry. We're able to handle all the Nurglings over here. I mean, but those Nurglings did surprisingly well over on that flank. But we did hold. And I think just appropriate targeting here is really what saved us. So we targeted the appropriate units at the appropriate time. Killing the key units allowed us to gain a victory, because if we had just gone head-to-head with that without like good targeting, then I think that we definitely get savaged by the Fecundites here. That's, I mean, I've played a couple of campaigns now with you'd call it the Changeling, and this is the strongest army I've seen the Fecundites field. So I'm surprised. They may be getting angry because of the way I'm treating them in the other campaigns and carrying it over to here. Not 100% certain. I'd like to get rid of some of those halberds, see whether or not that's a thing. But nevertheless, this was a very important victory for us. I do hope you all enjoyed the episode. I'm gonna let that cockatrice clean up a few of these kills. Should help it chevron some too, which will just make it better over time. But yeah, it'll pick up a few additional kills here and there. Oh yeah, you can see the chevronage. Building up, killing those halberds, expensive halberds, is certainly good for that. So that'll work. I'm gonna go ahead and, well, it's down to 40. What is that? It's still not even half strength, so, or half entities. Way below half hit points, but entities are a different story. They start dying a lot more towards the end. So like right here, we'll be getting more entity kills. There we go. All right. So what's in the battle? I would say that was a good one. Definitely important. And Festus, he brought the heat there, and he came after us. Kudos to him. AI is typically running away from us, but he's no match for Armored Change. And make no doubts about it, the tank made a huge difference in that battle because it was able to do the damage up close and personal. When it comes down to it, it's too bad the steam tank can't get a barrier. I mean, that would just be ridiculous. Steam tank with a shield. We did pick up a plague, which sucks. The Eternal Blade. That's actually a pretty sweet weapon. Let's grab that. We're going to choose power. What kind of plague did we get? It's not one that's causing attrition, thank goodness. But that is another land battle victory for us. And we also picked up the Weird Spawn, should we need them. We probably should need them. The Weird Spawn are pretty helpful. So I have to think where I want to place them, because flying units are pretty handy. I may replace one of the Blue Horrors again, just because less and less we're going to need these guys as a front line, whereas the Weird Spawn will be able to hold the front line pretty easy. So I think that was a good victory for us. Let's take a look. Well, actually, I'll handle the rest of this stuff in the next episode. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Heir of Tzeentch signing out for now. I'll see you soon.